Thanks for coming back for another review. Today, Veteran sent out their LYNX for review, and thanks to eWheels and Shoe Initech for sponsoring this video. Now, the LYNX is honestly quite an astonishing wheel. This wheel at 150 volts will free spin unlimited at 168 kilometers an hour. Now, it is limited to 125, but that'll still give you the ability to go about 90 kilometers an hour. This wheel, as I've been riding for the past 2-3 days, I'm just totally in love with it. I gotta be completely honest. I know it's gonna make me sound like a Leaperkim fanboy, but this wheel is honestly quite good. Now, today we're shooting the review at an abandoned metal fabrication factory, and it's actually quite suitable for the Veteran LYNX. Now, the reason I say that is because the LYNX takes a lot of its design elements and its industrial look from the Patton and the Sherman S. I'd say more so go through the range test. We're gonna go through all the top speed. I'm gonna tell you everything about this wheel, all of my thoughts. So stay tuned and watch the full review. The Veteran LYNX is kind of like any other wheel that Leaperkim has made. It's a wheel with no fuss, no BS, no pretty bells and whistles. It doesn't have the speakers or the pretty RGB, but instead Leaperkim chooses to focus on the ride. But before we get into that, let's talk about the basic specs of the Veteran LYNX. Now, on this 20-inch wheel, you're looking at a 3,200 watt motor at 150 volts. This wheel is also packed with 2,700 watt hours of battery, and there is going to be an upgraded variation, or actually a standard variation if you purchase from eWheels, that is a 50S cell. So, on top of that, you also have a FASTACE suspension in three options: 62, 66, and 70-pound options. I have with me the 70-pound. Now, the last thing that's probably the most surprising thing about the Veteran LYNX is that this wheel, despite it having 300 more watt hours and a bigger rim, it actually weighs pretty much exactly the same as the Patton. I don't know how LYNX have done it. I don't know how Veteran have done it, but I guess using the new magnesium alloy that they used on the Sherman S, they were able to keep the weight really down. That means that this wheel controls like nothing else on the market. It's very light, even though the wheel is on a bigger platform. Now let's have a look at the amenities that this wheel comes with. First off is this charge port. Now, given that it's 150 volts, you'll be given this newer style charge port, which is a GX20-5. You'll be also given a 750 watt charger, which is basically 150 volts at 5 amps. Coming around over here, you have your trolley handle. This will make it easy to push around if you're commuting with this wheel. And you also have this suspension cover. Now, a lot of people who were on the Sherman S or on the Patton were complaining that when they have their leg leaned up against this wheel, it actually grinds against their leg. So they've designed this suspension cover. Now, what isn't stock with the LYNX is a foam seat. Unfortunately, this wheel, as comfortable as it is to sit on, it doesn't have a foam seat. Coming down here, you have the jump pad situation. This is the same style used on the Patton. You have this hand screw and you can adjust it to whatever length you want. Now you also have this foam padding, so if you are jumping, it's not gonna hurt your foot. Now this newer pedal is also a newer style. It's spiked, but instead of the old clicky system used on the Sherman S, they've used a laptop kind of hinge dampening system, so you can push this to or adjust this to whatever angle you want. And the benefit of that is the longevity. Because it doesn't have the teeth anymore, so after prolonged use, I can imagine that this will withstand a lot of abuse, but only time will tell. Now the last thing is this kickstand. This kickstand obviously comes stock with your LYNX, like every other Veteran wheel. And if you pop this down, obviously I'm on a rock right now, but it's actually really stable. So one area of improvement that Leaperkim have told me about the LYNX is that it's more power efficient. What that means is it's going to use less amps to climb the same thing or to do the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the LYNX up this hill. Now this isn't like the steepest hill, but we're going to go up it slowly, and we're going to look at the amperage it needs to get up this hill. And then we're going to compare it to the Sherman S to see how many more amps the Sherman S will require to climb this exact same hill. So we have the GoPro set, and get it on video mode. Again, this is not a test of how fast it goes up. We're just doing slow climb and just looking at how many amps it requires. Okay. I'm looking at 80, 100, 120. I saw 120 there. Again, trying to do 5 kilometers an hour up. Okay. Oh my God. Did I just see 175? That's insane. So there you have it, climbing the same hill. This one will use about 180 amps to go 5 kilometers up this incline, and the LYNX will need about 120 amps. So under the same performance scenarios, you're going to get more efficiency with the LYNX. That contributes to having better range, even though it has less watt hours, less cells. Now let's look at some of the new features the LYNX includes. First off is the locked rotor. This means that during an off-roading session where you'll need the EUC to apply current but the motor isn't moving, it will no longer prematurely give out. Secondly is that the LYNX is capable of operating with a faulty hall sensor without cutting out until the wheel is at a much lower and safer speed. Now let's talk about the LYNX's seated riding experience. Now, as standard, the LYNX does not come with a foam seat, but I do know of EUC accessory companies already making a seat for this wheel, but I actually don't find it completely necessary. This wheel, because of how much higher up it is, I actually find it really easy to transition from a standing position to a seated experience, a seated riding experience. And even when going through the speed bumps, the FASTACE suspension really dampens it for you. So we're out here with a fully charged LYNX at 4 a.m. and we're gonna do a high speed run to see when this wheel beeps and what is the highest speed that we can obtain on the LYNX. Oh. Now, I was able to get the LYNX up to 89 kilometers an hour shown on the display, but at 83 according to the GPS. Now, I do think if you are a lighter rider, you'll be able to hit 90 kilometers an hour without any beeps, but please do it on a safe track. I don't think I'll have any issues with the way the wheel is balanced. I didn't have any wobbles at that speed. Again, it was more to do with the environment. With low battery mode on, I was able to cover a total of 80 kilometers an hour as a 95 kilogram riding, including all my gear. We started at 211 kilometers and finished at 291. All I gotta say is pretty impressive. 80 kilometers for a wheel that is only 2,700 watt hours. definitely the optimization through the firmware has allowed me to travel that distance. I don't think any other wheel with this amount of battery can allow me to travel 80 kilometers. This is ridiculous. And again, it's mixed riding. There's no off-roading, because off-roading you use not that much power because you're going at very low speed. I did some high-speed traveling. I went up to like 78 kilometers an hour. I wasn't doing like a speed run, but you know, something like on the faster commute side, and then also like some low-speed stuff as well. So some mixed riding conditions, and 80 kilometers is honestly really impressive. Okay, so having a look at the new updated Leaperkim app, we can see that in the main screen you have the speedometer, you have what you've limited the speed to, your alarm, you'll be able to turn on your light, you can reset the trip, and you can also change the shutdown time. Let's swipe, and you have your basic information, your power rating, overspeed, tilt back. In the cell page, you can actually see all your cells. This is really handy. It's a lot easier than going through the display. Check out the top right. Top right, they've added a few features. Let's go to the top. Device info tells you your vehicle number, software version. Can change language. Can change the units. And you can also change your ride mode. This is super helpful. Horizontal fine adjustment, so you can change the calibration. And then we can also change the overspeed alarm. This is super helpful. Firmware update. But that's it for the new Leaperkim app. Now let's talk about everything I like about the Veteran LYNX. First off is the comfortable suspension. This new FASTACE suspension offers you 90 millimeters of suspension travel, and it also has 3 different options: 62, 66, and 70. I've obviously gone for the 70 pound. Now I did experience some bottoming out, but it wasn't a huge issue, and it didn't make any horrendous noises. The second thing to talk about is its durability. The wheel is made from magnesium alloy, and it also shares a lot of its design elements from the patent. The rear is well protecting the rear light. The front bumper protects the front headlight really well, as well as the sides. I've tumbled this wheel down a few hills during off-road sessions, and it survived with no issues. Next, let's talk about the control. Now, a competitor to the LYNX is obviously the Master. When you first step on the Master, at least for myself, when you go through hard braking, I got some speed wobbles, I got some brake wobbles. But with the LYNX, I just didn't experience that. It just feels together, it feels connected to the rider. I feel really confident and really comfortable just on the wheel. Next, let's talk about the LYNX over the patent. And what I mean by that is, I actually like this wheel over the patent. I didn't enjoy off-roading on the patent because when you're off-roading, you had to wiggle around a lot of things, jump on a lot of things, because you're running on a 16-inch wheel. This, you can kind of just ride over it. I feel so confident on the LYNX. When I was back here last time with the patent, I just didn't feel comfortable going through these big jumps. I definitely was not clearing this. I was going from there up, and I was landing like on the flat. I wasn't landing on the downhill. I don't know what it is. I just enjoy, I think, off-roading with a 20-inch wheel a lot better. It's just a lot more confidence, less also impact. I also managed to clear this for the first time ever. Like something like this where it's like up and there's no flat on in the middle. That scared the crap out of me. But you know, when you feel good enough on a wheel, when you feel confident, when you feel like connected to the wheel, anything is freaking possible. And you know, I've been to many places with many wheels, and nothing makes me feel as confident as the LYNX does. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with the LYNX is the possibility for this being a race wheel. This wheel has the ability to free spin at 168 kilometers an hour. That is super, super quick. Obviously, it's limited to 125, so you'll be able to safely ride this wheel at around 90 kilometers an hour. But please, if you're doing that, please gear up and only do it on a closed circuit track. With that being said, have fun riding this wheel, but please gear up, and speeds at 90 kilometers an hour are extremely dangerous. Please know that, and please be aware of your surroundings when you're doing that speed. Don't tell Leaperkim this, but there are a few things I don't like about the LYNX. The first thing is the suspension. Now, I did say I really like the suspension, but I still think the ultimate suspension is one where you can change out the shock to fit the rider's needs. You'll have just more customization if you're able to use that linkage type suspension. The second thing is the headlight. The headlight is really bright, but they've changed the color of the LEDs to a bit yellowish, and that's going to perform a little bit better in fog and in raining conditions, but I still prefer a all white LED. And as well as the headlight, it still blinds people. It doesn't have a cutoff angle, so if you're pointing it straight ahead, it's going to blind a lot of oncoming pedestrians or cars. The last thing I don't like about the LYNX is the tire opening. This tire opening is only 90 millimeters wide. Now, what that means is you'll probably be able to fit a Shinko 244 on here, but it's going to be a tight fit. And if you put one of those street tires that are 90/14, then it's most likely going to grind against the inner battery casing. I wish Veteran just made this opening a little bit wider to accompany more street tires. Now, Jason has gotten some feedback from his emails that people don't like this tire, so he is exploring options of tubeless options on the LYNX. All of this really wouldn't be possible without my viewers on the channel. I've been posting YouTube videos for the past 6-7 years and really putting a lot of work into this channel for the past 2 years. I've finally hit 10,000 subscribers. It's taken a lot of time, and without your support, without the support of my sponsors, the production quality wouldn't be where it's at today. Thanks to Aka for filming this content with me, and thanks for my sponsors for sponsoring the video so I can hire a videographer to help me capture this footage and let me focus on gathering my thoughts for this wheel. If you're interested in picking up a Leaperkim product from Thailand or in Thailand, then please check out Shoe Initech. They've always continued to support me whenever I post a Leaperkim product review. Thanks to FASTACE from eRides Europe or eRide UK. He's been a long-term friend of mine. I've known him for about, I think, 6-7 years now. And he's always shown me support. We talk about all the wheels, and he's just been a really good friend. He also offers Leaperkim products in Europe. So if you want to buy a Leaperkim product in Europe, please hit him up. And my ultimate gratitude, my utmost gratitude to Jason. Jason has been in the industry for, I think, 8+ years now. He works night and day pushing these manufacturers to create a safer product, to create a more feature-packed product that really are aligned with what riders want. It's not enough to put weird features on a wheel and hope that people want these features. He pushes these manufacturers in the right direction. And he's shown a lot of support in this channel. He's shown a lot of support to me, and he's shown a lot of support in the electric unicycle community. So thanks to Jason for once again sponsoring this video. If you want to pick up a Leaperkim product in the US, please check ewheels.com. I'll leave a link again once in the description. So where does this wheel situate in Leaperkim's lineup? With the Pattern, I think it's more of an extreme wheel for people that are focused on extreme riding, extreme off-road riding, or people who want a wheel that's just in a smaller package. The Sherman S is going to be catered to those people who need a longer range, 360 watt-hours. But honestly, with the optimization of battery that this wheel has, I'm only getting about 10-15 kilometers more on the Sherman S, and that's a much heavier wheel, where this one is only about 40 kilograms. Now, I think this wheel honestly situates in, dare I say it, the racing scene. I think when this wheel hits a lot of riders out in North America, a lot of people will be using this wheel in Apple Valley Speedway events or Amped Electric games. I think it's capable of doing a lot of things for a lot of people. And it doesn't need the changes that you need like on the Big O Master. Leaperkim somehow manages on every release to hit the mark spot on. I find myself discovering the joy I get from riding like it's the first day. New ways to challenge and improve my riding, as I know I can trust myself and trust the wheel to propel myself there. Thanks for watching this review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.